Hello and welcome back to the MLB Prop Show presented by Props Optimizer. It is our prop betting app that is totally free on Android and on iPhone. Go download it on iOS App Store or the Android App Store for your one-stop for prop betting and data for free if you want to view ads, and $10 per month for no ads. Now, let's dig into the props. On Full Send Friday, we went 3-2. CJ Abrams sold for us. Trevor Story sold for us. Then we had 3 that hit. And now let's dig into today's props. We're going to try and go fast here. After the props, we are going to get into the DFS talk with some pitchers to consider, high-owned pivots, and then also do the same with stacks. Now, let's get into the picks. I got 3 for us today. Reminder, top 2 picks, when they hit, one lucky winner will win $20. We have George Springer. We have Rafael Devers. Those are the 2 picks. Now let's get into them a little bit. We got George Springer, 1.5 total bases. LineStar's at 3.1. Consensus is at 1.9. The thing with good old Springer Dinger today is that he is in, excuse me, an absolutely great spot. Joe Boyle hasn't been good versus righty bats. Springer has been amazing versus righties. He's a top 5% hitter versus righties and has top 5% barreled ball rate versus right-handed pitcher over the last 2 weeks. Then you get into his splits. Over the last 20 games, he's hitting 354. Over the last 150 games versus righty, he hits 306. Over the last 20, 364 with 7 home runs, 379 ISO, 491 WOBA. He's hitting the ball hard, getting on base all the time, and I think 1.5 total bases is just way too low, and Joe Boyle does not scare me whatsoever. 44% hard contact rate over the last 2 weeks. Now, let's get into the next pick, and that is Rafael Devers. Higher than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. LineStar's at 2.3. Consensus is at 2.2. And Devers has been on fire lately. He's just coming out of a very, very on fire streak, but he is hitting 288 over the last 20 games. He's hitting 255 versus righties with 4 home runs, a 274 ISO, and a 395 WOBA. The man hits righties very, very well, and he is in the hitter-friendly Diamondback, Arizona ballpark. He's a top 15% hitter versus righties. He's hitting 333 and 9 plate attempts versus Zach Gallen, and you get by a Gallen, and you have a very poor bullpen to take advantage of. I like the spot for Rafi Devers, higher than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. Then, to stay with the same game so we can get a little stack action for you on Pick'em, we got Jung Lee, higher than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. 1.8 is the LineStar projection. 2.2 the consensus projection. Jung Ho went through a middle of the season where he struggled a little bit, but he's back to hitting pretty well. He's a top 30% hitter versus right-handed pitching. He's hitting 303 over the last 20 games, but that jumps up to 377 versus righties with a 189 ISO and a 437 WOBA. Meanwhile, Gallen giving up 470 ERA, middle of the road ISO, decent WOBA, and in 6 plate attempts, he is also hitting 333 off Gallen, and you have the poor pull bin behind him. So those are our 3 picks for the day. We got George Springer. Over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. Rafael Devers and Jung Lee higher than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. That will do it for our 3 picks for today. And now let's get into our home run call of the day. And for that, we are going a bit down the list, down to Bryce Harper versus Emmett Sheehan. Now, we got a 20.2% home run chance according to LineStar. Sportsbooks have him at 25.3%. I don't totally love the bet, but I do like the chance for the home run for Bryce Harper today. Thing is, Sheehan is giving up a lot of hard contact. Almost a 180 ISO. Home run on 4.6% of plate attempts to lefties. He gives up 42% hard contact rate. And then you got Bryce Harper, who's hitting the ball very hard right now. Over the last 20 games, 269 average, 218 ISO with 5 home runs. And then versus righties, that 5 home runs, a 349 ISO, and a home run on 10% of the plate attempts. I love the spot for Bryce. He's also in home run Dodger Stadium, home run Central. It does play up to the home run, especially down the lines where it's a little short, and he has a 52% hard contact rate, 50 or 94 mile an hour average exit velocity, and Dodgers bullpen giving up some home runs. So we're going with Bryce Harper. The 2 other home run calls that are on our X today, we have Kyle Schwarbaum and a Springer Dinger. That'll do it for us today, guys. And next, we are coming up with our good old DFS show. I'll be right back in just a minute. All right, now for DFS Major League Baseball on tonight's slate, we got a slate that starts a little bit later today. Oops. One second here. We got a slate that starts a little bit later today. It's a 4:35 start. And it is what, 8 games today, or sorry, 7 games on FanDuel and 7 games on DraftKings. We already have some lineups out, but we do not have all of them. And I'm having a little trouble here. Oops. One second. There we go. Now I got it. All right. For our DraftKings pitchers, high owned, we got Carlos Rodon, lefty, 26% owned, versus the Twins. Twins haven't been great versus lefties over the last 150 games. However, over the last 20, they've been absolutely raking. 280 average, 26 home runs, 177 ISO, high WOBA, striking out at 21% versus 23. All in all, it's a decent matchup, but I do worry about Rodon's K rate. Over the last 5, he only has a 18% K rate. Over the last 20, it's 23.8%. All in all, I think it's a very interesting matchup, but he is averaging 38% less fantasy points while away. We haven't been on Rodon very much because of that last 5 K rate, and it's been steady and been low here for a bit. And he is going high owned today. I don't totally love the spot. I don't mind a little bit. We only have 7 games, so we don't have a ton to choose from, but I think there are some other ways to go, like Kyle Bradish, who has a higher projection for us. The consensus projection's lower. And I think Rodon's median projection probably should be a little higher, but I love the upside for Bradish today at 9.2K. He has a 2.36 BIP over his last 20 starts, 3.22 over the last 5, 32% K rate. That K rate is just super elevated, and so that is interesting. He is allowing 40% fly balls, 30% hard contact, and then you go into the splits aspect. The White Sox are striking out a ton lately. They are also not hitting the ball quite as hard, and Bradish averages 92% more fantasy points while away. 28.5 combined K rate is an interesting spot. I love the upside here, and I don't mind going with some KB Kyle Bradish. Next, we got Matthew Liberatore, 6.3K, 22% owned. I have a hard time wanting to try and pick on this Cincinnati offense here. However, they have been very, very bad versus lefties pretty much all season long. Over the last 20 games, striking out, or 150 games, striking out at almost 24%. That's down to 20%, but their ISO is lower. Their average is lower. They only have 3 home runs off lefties in the last 20. They just have not been producing off lefties. However, the BVP data, they hit Liberatore well. Liberatore is also averaging 30% more fantasy points at home. At 6.6K, I get why you want to go there. I just don't feel like you need to have to. You don't need to. I think there's plenty of medium price guys you can go to. You don't have to go to a high-owned Liberatore. Next, K-Wing Tang. 2.72 FIP over the last 5, but a 6.52 ERA. That is only over 19 plate attempts. 26% K rate. He has only had 6 starts, well, 4 starts this one too. 5 starts this year. And he's had 1 game where he had 2 earned runs, 8 Ks, 5.1 earned, then 4 innings, 4 earned runs, 8 Ks. The upside is there in the K department, but it's can he stop the runs from happening? The FIP says he can, but that ERA is scary. He just keeps having some mistakes that lead to blow up innings. He's got to stop that. He's got to get his control, a handle on it. 5.9 walks per 9 will kill you at this level of baseball, and that just keeps killing him. There's upside here, but definitely worry about it. He's given up a ton of fly balls as well, but at least it is a lot of or not very much hard contact. Split wise, Arizona has been struggling a little bit over the last 20, but generally they are a decent team. If you look at the last 150, the combined K rate's 26% at 6K. You're taking a chance here, but the upside does warrant. Joe Boyle, Burke, I don't really want to go. Emmett Sheehan, I do not mind going to. He has been dealing lately. 3.87 FIP over the last 20, 3.63 over the last 5. K rates in 30%, low 30s. StatCast data is this worrisome thing. 40% fly balls, 42% hard contact, and 6 barrel balls and 57 batted. And then you look at the splits, and the Phillies are just raking versus righties. So it's a tough one. Shaheen, I don't mind to go to. He is averaging more fantasy points at home, but it is a boom bust spot. He needs to be striking out these Philly bats and missing the bats, or else he could get blown up. I like Bryce for a home run. Thought about going Schwarber. Eli went to Schwarber. My only issue with Schwarber is he has just been total boom or bust lately. It's literally been home run or nothing. So I think Shaheen is an interesting low-owned pivot at 8,700. You could totally go there. And then he is facing Ranger Suarez at 9K, who Suarez has been dealing lately. FIP of 3 over the last 20. FIP of 1.73 over the last 5 and a 33% K rate. Dodgers, good versus anybody, but has been very good versus Ranger. I love Rangers upside, and I love that nobody's going there. I would rather go Ranger than I would Rodon. Similar upside, but he's been a better pitcher lately. Kyle Bradish is an interesting one as well. And then we got Jack Leiter at 7,200 versus the Astros. Another guy that has been feeling it lately. 2.75 FIP over his last 5 and a 30% K rate. 4.19 over the last 20 and a 24% K rate. Don't mind going Leiter, but he is definitely not proven like some of these other guys. But if you're going to a lower price pitcher today, I would prefer Leiter over Liberatore, even though that it is against the Astros, who are a decent offense, especially versus righties where they have decent ISO, don't strike out a whole lot, and a decent WOBA. 25.8% combined K rate, 7,200 is absolutely interesting. Gallen is a boom bust pick. I don't love it. I think the Giants end up getting to him, but you can't deny the ceiling that he has at only 8K. Now, take a look at the FanDuel action here. All right, we got Rodon going in almost 40% owned. That is way too high, and I would way rather go Suarez, Gallen, Shaheen, Bradish. I overpaying 40% for Rodon. Trigger State, what's your favorite game / team to stack some players? Good thing you say that, because we are getting to the stacks right now. Good morning, Snoop. All right. High owned. We got Yankees versus Simeon Woods Richards. Richards' son, I should say. I always want to leave that part out. But he hasn't been good. 6.8 FIP over the last 5. 5.08 over the last 20. Yankees been hitting well. There's plenty of reasons to go there. Don't mind eating some chalk there. We got a game total of 9, and they're big favorites. Plenty of reason to go there. Arizona versus Tang, I think, is a very good spot. Tang is just letting way too many guys on base, walking way too many, and it just leads to some big innings. Don't mind that way as well. Our highest projected stacks. We got Yankees all over it. SWR just hasn't been great. Makes a ton of sense to go that way. Our highest value, we got Texas versus Jason Alexander. Alexander has a FIP just shy of 5 under the last 5. I think people believe in him a little bit too much right now, and this low-owned stack that also is cheap makes some sense. Our high ceiling plays, we got Dodgers versus Rangers, Yankees popping up, Phillies. I think Phillies, as far as a leverage, is super interesting versus the Dodgers today. It is up there as far as some of my favorite stacks is for like the leverage aspect. Tampa Bay versus Trey Savage. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Trey, and I'm sorry for that. Tampa Bay, some of the better hitting weather in a hitter-friendly park. Makes sense to go there. Now let's get to some of my favorite stacks. So Yankees at 5.1 and Arizona at 4.7, I think you have to consider. I don't love the Houston. I absolutely love the Toronto stack. I'm going to get a lot of Toronto, I think. It's one of my favorite ones. Yes, it is a MLB debut for Trey. Snoop, thank you for reminding me to say that. Baltimore versus Sean Burke. Don't love it. San Francisco versus Zach Gallen is one of my favorites. The team has been raking lately. So yeah, Toronto and San Francisco, probably my 2 favorite, along with Yankees and Diamondbacks. And if we come down the board, you can go to any of these guys for leverage, but I don't necessarily think you have to today. There's plenty of ways to get different at pitching and just to pay up for your stacks a little bit more. That's going to do it for us today, guys. Quick one, as we have a lot of football to talk about too. You all have a good one. We'll be back with more tomorrow for MLB and starting to look at week 2 for the NFL. You all have a great afternoon. Let's make some money tonight. Talk to you later. Peace.